Wait till I get this notification. Okay, boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this afternoon. We have a great guest, one who I'm very honored and humbled would take time out of his busy schedule. And Brother Mark, first of all, assalamu alaikum, sir.
Like salam, Brother Josh. Always a pleasure.
Praise be to Allah. Brother Mark, for those who may not know, for every time I've seen you, it's always like you're always serious and holding posts and always in a very soldier mode. But
Yes,
for those who don't know, Brother Mark is one of the nicest people you will ever meet to us. If you're on the right side,
that's right.
He's always been very kind to us. So we thank you, Brother Mark, for being nice to us. And all the young brothers always showing love to us when we was coming up trying to post and get on. So I appreciate that.
Sir. I appreciate you. Always.
Yes, sir. Brother Mark, my first question for you is, when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
That's a very, very dear experience for me because I first heard the minister at the Million Man March. So I was one in a million. I went to the march as a lost found, really never even hearing the minister. That just goes to show you how blind, deaf, and dumb I was.
Yes, sir.
I went down there as a very, very depressed young man. July 4th of that year, 1995, I had lost my firstborn daughter. And from that moment all the way up until the march, I walked through life with complete blinders on. I don't know if there are any individuals who's ever dealt with depression. It's a very, very dark place.
Yes, sir.
When it's sunny outside, it's still gray.
Yes, sir.
I was involving myself in some very destructive behavior with as far as being in my neighborhood, having confrontations with police and just negative energy. And the march was coming up, so the city was buzzing. And I actually was out one day and I passed a brother on the street, and the brother tried to present the paper to me. He was very excited that the march was coming up, and I just blew right past him, acting like I didn't want anything to do with him. And he, about 2 steps past him, he stopped me. He said, "Brother," and I turned around and I had this look on my face because I was in pain.
Yes, sir.
And he didn't know where it was coming from, and he asked me. He said, "Is it that bad?" Mm-hmm. And my response was, "Hell yeah, it's that bad." And he said, "Man, you should come down to the march, man, and to hear the minister." So days had passed, weeks had passed. My neighborhood was gathering on the corner to go getting excited to go to the march, and
yes,
they encouraged me to go with them. And I, at one point, was willing to go with them. I was like, "We're gonna all go down there together, and it's gonna be a great day." The day before the march, really the night before the march, I came back out, and my friends were all in the neighborhood, and they were talking about what time they was gonna meet up and go to the march. And I said to them, I said, "You know what? I'm gonna go to the march, but I think I'm gonna go by myself." Mm. And they all stopped and looked at me like, "By yourself? Are you crazy, man? You know how many people gonna be here? You don't know what's going on,
Yes, sir.
Back in them days, the city was on fire with all types of negative activity. So you don't know what's coming in here, man. It's gonna be 1 million dudes down there, XYZ. And I was like, "Yeah, but I think I'm gonna go down there by myself because I think it's something I might need to hear. And going down there with y'all, I might miss it." Mm. And I woke up, the next morning, at 5 o'clock, because I knew it was going, early. It was going to be early. I heard about the prayer at 5. So I woke up around 5. I drove my car as close as I could, and I walked about 10 blocks. And on my way down there, I can hear the call for prayer. The sun was coming up. And when I got there, I was already thousands of people already there. And I found the spot by a tree, near the first Jumbotron. And it's funny because every time I go down that way, I always see that tree. And I stood there the whole day. I listened to all the presenters, all the, the speakers, and then the minister came on. And again, I'm there, but I'm still in this mental state. And I saw him when he was coming down the steps. First of all, I heard Supreme Captain Brother Mustafa bring him on, and he got my attention because he spoke so strong. I was like,
yes, sir.
Man, who is this dude? This is my thinking. And then somebody said, oh, that's the minister's son. I was like, dang,
yes, sir,
that was just my response. And then the crowd started roaring. You could see the minister coming down the steps, and he turned that corner, and he came down on my side by those steps. And I was looking at him. And he was so bright. He had, in my eyes, a illuminating light around him to the point where I was squinting trying to look at him. This is my real experience. And I've had the opportunity to tell people this maybe 4 times. And a lot of brothers don't know how I got in the nation. I told this story to a couple brothers in Capt Mark out of Detroit. He started crying and said, brother, you need to tell somebody this story.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So he had this illuminating light around him. You still see me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm happy. To my side. Okay. And he took the podium and he had my attention the whole day. And he made us say the pledge. I say your name.
Yes, sir.
I, Mark McCutcheon, promise, and I'm saying the pledge. And,
yes, sir.
And I remember him saying, young brothers, go to a mosque, go to a church, go to a synagogue, get involved in your community, right?
Yes, sir.
And they closed out, they made prayer. I walked off and I turned and watched him go up them steps. And he waved. And I hit the deck. Boom. I'm down on Constitution Avenue crying like a baby. Because the light came on. I can see now. Everything was bright again. And I was working at the time at a rehabilitation center. And a brother was there. And we were talking. I said, man, I went to the march. Were you there? He was like, yeah, I went. And I said, where's a mosque at? Where's a mosque? And he said, well, I'm affiliated with a mosque in Maryland. I said, good, I live in Maryland. He said, well, he gave me the address. He said, well, come this Sunday. So the march was that Monday. I ran into him like on a Wednesday. Sunday, I banged on the door at Prince George County Study Group at the time. And the brother came to the door kind of abruptly because I was banging on the door.
Yes, sir.
And he said, how you doing, black man? I said, man, I was at the march on Monday, and the minister said come to the mosque, so I'm here. What do I do? He said, well, come on in, black man. And there it was. I walked through the door of Prince George County Study Group the week after the march of hearing the minister for the very first time.
Praise be to Allah.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah.
Okay, excellent. My sister Miriam says, Assalamu alaikum. Brother Jamal says, please give my good brother Mark the greetings from me. Brother Jamal from Baltimore.
Yes, sir.
Says, give brother the greetings. How did your parents feel when you accepted the teachings?
She was fine with it because she saw a transformation. I was different. I mean, she was very worried at the time of what I had experienced and what I was dealing with. And she saw a transformation in me. She saw me My eyes were bright. I was going to the mosque Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday call outs. Every week. I did that for the first 5 years of being in the nation. I never missed a meeting. Snow on the ground. You name it, I was there. And she saw that transformation. And the only time we had a disagreement in this journey is when I went to Savior's Day as a processing brother, and the minister blessed us with Muhammad. I didn't know what that means.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was at Savior's Day, and his gift to us was everybody's here processing or registered Muslims. I'm blessing you with Muhammad. Your last name is Muhammad. Everybody went crazy. And I'm sitting there like I didn't know what that meant.
Yes, sir.
I just didn't know what it meant, and everybody started calling me Muhammad. Congratulations, Muhammad. Congratulations. And I'm like, what does that mean? It's like he just blessed you with a last name. And I was like, wow. So when I came home, all fired up, I told my mom, my name ain't McCutcheon no more. My name Muhammad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
She was like, what? And she didn't understand. And we had our words. And I said, I was fired up. Man, I'm not wearing that cracker name no more. Blah, blah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that was the only time that we had a disagreement. But then after she understood, it was okay. So that was the only time. And my family loved it. They love the minister to this day.
Praise be to Allah. Excellent. Okay, now I play running back. I'm sure you will be one of the people trying to break my legs and break me up. Absolutely. Playing football. What position did you play, bro, Mark? And why was football such a strong passion for you?
I played strong safety, and then later I moved.
Mark?
Sir, I didn't hear you. Josh, can you hear me?
Okay, it was froze for a minute. Okay. I hear you now.
Yeah, I played.
Yes, I hear you now.
And I played strong. Well, let me go all the way back. I started playing football when I was 7. I ran in the house one day after seeing a football game. Told my mom, I'm gonna go pro. I want to play football. So, okay, no problem, baby. It's all right. Just go outside and play. So I went down to our local boys club and signed up to play football. And as long as I was out of trouble, she didn't mind. So I'm going to practice every day. And a week before the season start, they have weigh-ins and registration. So I get my birth certificate and get all the things that I needed to register to play. And I'm in line, I weigh in, then I go to the table to get registered. They look at my birth certificate and say, man, you 7. I'm like, yeah, I'm 7. They said, well, you can't play until you 8. I was like, no, I can play. I've been practicing all this time. He said, no, you can't play till you 8. So I couldn't play. But I showed up at the field every day, just like I was on the team. And the following year, I started playing boys club. So I went from playing boys club, of course, I transitioned into high school. My first high school practice, it hurt so bad because they didn't have a JV and I had to practice the varsity. I quit. Off that field. I was small. Man, listen, varsity football, I was in the 9th grade playing on the varsity football team, and I quit. Got to high school in the 10th and just decided I wasn't going to play football. So one day I'm in gym class, and my gym teacher, we playing flag, and I'm throwing this ball 60, 70 yards on a rope. And he said, you're not on the football team? I was like, nah, I ain't on the football team. And he said, man, you better go to the practice this evening for JV. I'm like, oh, y'all got a JV team? Like, yeah. So I went out for the JV team, played quarterback in high school. Yeah, I played quarterback in high school. It was All-American. By the time I was a senior, it was All-American.
Okay, yes, sir. Yeah. Okay.
So I played several positions, but I started out as a quarterback. And I got recruited out of high school as a quarterback as well. I got to college, and my first week of practice, we had some amazing quarterbacks on the team. And I'm looking at these guys like we 5 deep. I'm like, man, I ain't never get on the field. So I actually switched to defensive back, which I played defensive back as well. So I played safety throughout my college career.
Praise be to Allah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
After that, I had the opportunity to play for the Green Bay Packers as safety, and and the rest is history.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, wonderful. Brother Daniel sends a greeting. Brother Cedric says his brother says, shout out to you for being his brother. Brother Cedric from DC, Brother Dan from Chicago. Okay, my next question for you, sir, is what was it like for you meeting the minister for the first time?
Oh man. So in my journey of being an FOI and the minister moving around and coming to DC and having the opportunity to secure him in whatever capacity.
Yes, sir.
Of course, starting out a block away from the hotel when the motorcade comes in, overnight security on the vehicles outside, to holding the doors of maybe the route that he may be taking to get to his room, to securing his door at night. That journey was very special to me.
Yes, sir.
And then the anniversary, and by that time I was coming up in the ranks of from squad leader to lieutenant to first officer to captain. So I was, but I was in another mosque, and mosque number 4, of course, was always in charge of the minister's detail when it come to the city. At that time, I was Capt Mark was the captain in mosque number 4, and he would call me over to mosque number 4 sometime after our FOI class, after they end their class, for to talk to the officers. And so he called me over one night after FOI class, and the minister was coming in town, and he said, and by that time, this was probably the first time or maybe the second time I was in the same room with Brother Layton. And me, Layton, and some other brothers were in the room, and he was talking about the minister's detail coming in, which was nothing new. We dealt with him before. And then he held me and Layton and said, you and Layton will be working with the minister's detail. And we was like, okay, we kind of blew it off, like, okay. He was like, no, you'd be working with the diamond. And I was like, what? He said, yeah, you'd be working with the diamond. So when the team gets here, you need to get with, he was telling me who get with the members of the team, and they're brief and, very intimidating and scary detail if you, for your first time. So,
yes,
so my first time with them, it was, on the detail. I still have that picture on my wall at home, and it was a beautiful experience, but I never met him, if you can understand what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
Right? That those scenarios took place many times, being right on his 6, right in the same elevator, right in the same room, but you never know when to interject or just say, brother, you never know when. So I don't. And the anniversary of the Million Man March was coming up, and we secured him the 5-year anniversary.
Yes, sir.
We secured him then, and again, it was a special day for me because 5 years earlier, I'm out by a tree as a lost found.
Yes, sir.
So, of course, we did all the security briefings and Capitol Hill, and the ministers coming in, and we, by that time, we was, I was a little bit more experienced being on the detail.
Yes, sir.
Some by trial and error, trust me.
Yes,
so by trial and error. So by that time I was pretty experienced, and I knew my position on the team, and they knew where I was supposed to be. So when I wasn't, I got checked. So we came out of the Capitol, and I'm on the minister's 6, and when we came down those steps, and I looked at that tree where I was 5 years earlier, and I had shades on, but I was crying like a baby. right? It's crying like a baby. So that was a beautiful experience. So let's fast forward 20 years. So this last anniversary of the Million Man March, again, working on the team. I was actually working with Brother Minister Tony at the time, dealing with the bikers coming.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
I was heavy on that, working with the bikers. And we brought the bikers down. You can see, I think I got pictures of me standing post on Minister Tony when he was giving the vax lecture.
Yes, sir.
And then, again, the march was over. We decided to take a ride by the minister's hotel with all the bikes.
Yes, sir.
We rode down there, and then we loud, and we in the street, we in the middle of the street, right across from the White House, and we revving our engines, right? So Minister Tony said the minister wants to come upstairs. I don't know how he got that. I think Josh may have called him on the phone, and we left our bikes. We had brothers to run back across. They had to turn their bikes off. They left them on. But we all just took off running to go upstairs to greet him. So that, of course, they had it organized where you could greet the minister, and we greeted him. And I'm in the room, and again, been there before, and all the bikers and visitors were greeting him. And then it was just this moment that he was standing, or after we took pictures and everything, it was a moment where he was standing, I was standing, and nobody had, interfered this moment. It was me, him, and it was like nobody else was in the room. And I said, Brother Minister. And he turned, he looked up at me. He said, yes, sir. I said, I've waited 20 years to say thank you. You saved my life. And he grabbed my hand. And I said, as a lost fan, a depressed lost fan, I had attempts on my life with suicide from July 4th all the way to the march. And when I heard you, those feelings of wanting to end my life went away. And I just want to thank you, right? Man. And he said to me, he said, brother, Allah did not allow you to take your life because you had so many lives to influence. And here they come, bro. Man. And then I look back. You start looking back over the 20 years and the people you've come across and the influence that you've had on people's lives. And it's like, amazing. Wow. And I got that picture. The brother that was standing with me, who I mentored while he was in prison. And when I was a captain, we had adopted prisoner program. So every month we would write letters to prisoners. And then once a month, we allow them, after our class, we allow them to listen in after we close our class out. We allowed it was the FOI program in jail. So we allowed them to listen to our class. And it was a brother named Brother Kevin 2X, who me and him would communicate all the time. And then when he got out of jail, we had been close. I went to the halfway house the day he got out. When he came out, I picked him up, took him straight to the mosque, and he was with me in that room.
Praise be to
Allah. And he knows the story, so he took the picture. And I have that picture with me to this day, and I think I have it posted on my page, where me and the minister was having that moment. And that was the first time I was ever able to tell him thank you.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, Brother Mark, I didn't know. So you're saying you were the captain in the PG County?
Yeah, we were a study group, and we became a mosque number 94, the expansion, and in 2 years.
Praise be to Allah.
We got our number in 2 years, and it was told to us that we got our number faster than any mosque, any study group in the history of the nation. We had been, yes, sir. We had been study group of the year in charity and number 2 poor. And at that time, we were getting our papers from mosque number 4. And then we got to a level where we were taking so many papers. I told him I want the truck to come up the hill.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So yeah. So we arranged where we got our own papers. So it was, when I got there, it was maybe about 8 brothers in the mosque, maybe about 5 sisters at the study group, and we grew. We got our numbers in and put it into our chart. And Minister Sean at the time was the minister.
Excellent. Yes, sir. I had the honor and privilege of interviewing him last month, I believe. So.
Oh, wow. That's
yes,
amazing.
sir. Praise be to Allah. My next question is, so as a fellow driller and comrade in the Nation of Islam military, I've seen drill tapes with you high stepping, very high knees, and drilling with Brother Daryl in DC. Yes, how did you find the love for drill, and how did what attracted you to drill?
It's part of the military training. So when you go to FOI class, it was the highlight. It was the highlight. I fell in love with drilling, just the precision of it, And we had Brother Michael, who was our DI over in the study group of Mosque 94, if you will, and he came from Mosque number 4.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He was on the brother, I call him the mighty DI Daryl.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so he came with that flair and that precision and that posture. So that was the number 4 way, and we adopted that, and we just, I just fell in love. And then when I transferred to mosque number 4, I just fell right in. And of course, the famous drill competitions at Savior's days, back in those days. Number 4 we had to be at the top, and we had practice. Brother Darrell wouldn't start drill practice till midnight.
Yes, sir.
Midnight drill practice, and we would drill until the sun came up. And we wouldn't be allowed to leave until we do our routine twice with perfection, with absolute perfection. And those were some very, very long nights.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that's why we accomplished the goal of being drill champions back-to-back years.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
that's amazing.
Yes, sir.
And but Mark, what do you do for fun?
I ride my motorcycle, man. I love that bike.
Yes, sir.
Love that motorcycle. I work out. Y'all know I train. I'm back in the dojo. I promised myself I'd get this black belt. I've been sitting on this brown belt for way too long because I stay in the weight room, and it's a different type of training when you lifting weights, and the martial arts training is just different. So they don't serve me well when I'm in the gym lifting all that weight and then go to the dojo. It just don't serve me well. So I talked to my professor and was like, I'm gonna commit to achieving that goal of getting my black belt. I like hanging out with my daughters, my family. We movie heads. We love watching movies.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So I love, everybody know I love my dogs.
They call the Mollywogs, right?
Mallies, band dogs, wrestlers, you name it. I love them because we're taught that everything in God's creation was meant to bow down to man. And
yes, sir.
Sometimes them dogs will try you. They will try you.
Excellent. My next question for you, Mark, is what has been your greatest trial in life, and how have you overcome that, sir?
My greatest trial, and I still fight it, is that loss, that depression. We hear the minister talk about when parents lose a child, and there's no greater pain. I can bear witness to that. It's a pain that I had never thought I would be able to experience, and at one point I thought I couldn't overcome it. So, and at times you have a moment, but being in the nation, I know better. I know what to do to stop those feelings of being in that place. I recognize where I'm going, so I know how to get out of it now. So that's been one of my biggest trials to overcome in my life.
What has been your greatest joy in life?
Man, my greatest joy is my family, my two girls. Because at the time when my daughter was in the hospital and she was, they was basically saying there was nothing they could do for her. I prayed the best I could. Again, I'm a lost found, and I just was praying if you just let her call me daddy just one more time, I'll do whatever you want. You know the prayer we do.
Yes, sir. Yes,
just let me do this one more time, if you. And so I was blessed, not once but twice. I have two beautiful daughters. They are everything to me. I take them everywhere. Matter of fact, my oldest to this point still don't let me live it down. One of the years at Savior's Day, I was about to go on stage when my wife went into labor. My wife was saying, "You can't go to Savior's Day because I'm 4 weeks out and I know she's gonna come." I'm like, "No, you all right? You be all right. I'll be back a couple days, That's Saturday. Oh no, that's Saturday morning. I got a call around 4 a.m. that she was going to labor. Me and Brother Layton was in the room with me. And I jumped up. I just closed my suitcase with everything hanging out and just ran down the hall. No clothes on, no nothing. And he came out the door. He said, "Brother Mark, where you going, man? You in Chicago." I was like, "What? My baby, my daughter, my baby coming. My wife, he's calm down, just calm down. Let's get him on. Let's get someone on the phone. We got somebody that can be with her." So I called my mom. My mom was already on the way to the hospital, and right before the drill competition, she was still in labor. And then right after we came on stage, I called my mom and they said my daughter was born.
Praise be to the Lord. Beautiful, bro, Mark. Beautiful.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Sister Jadez is showing love to Naima, Brother Cedric, Brother Joseph, Brother Jamal. Thank you, Brother Jamal. Thank you for watching. This is his first time watching. Okay, and Brother Mark, my next question for you is, sir, will you ever write a book about your life?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Sometimes you take for granted, or I take for granted, how I influence people and some of the conversations and some of the advice I've given people. I take for granted, but as far as writing a book, I don't think I would. And that's just because how I see myself. I don't see myself that important. But one thing I've come to understand, being an older man, 52 now, never underestimate how people see you.
Yes, sir.
And I had to learn that. I never underestimate how people see me, even though I may not see myself in that certain light. People look up to you and the things that you've done, and you inspired them. And I take it for granted. You said earlier, I'm not, you don't see me on Facebook that much. But then if I post something, here comes my phone won't stop buzzing and I take for granted how people see me, and I take for granted how my experiences can motivate and help somebody else. That's why it's easier now to tell that story. Before I couldn't, because I know my story and what I experienced can help someone.
Yes, sir.
I can't keep that to myself. That's my experience. God gave me that to maybe express and give that to someone else, so maybe it may help them.
Praise be to Allah. Excellent. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
and
sir.
Brother Sultan of the E-Team says, can you believe I know a brother this great with such a great history? Praise be to Allah. Brother Keem, Brother Keem, Brother Daryl's son says, I remember Brother Mark being a strong pillar and pleasant brother to us juniors back in 1998 when we were in PG study group school. You were definitely an inspiration and influencing. Loves you, brother. And Jadea said, if you ever did write a book, she would definitely read it. These stories need to be preserved. Praise be to Allah.
You know who was in our Muhammad University at Muslim 94?
No, sir. Who's that?
As a young junior FOI?
No, sir.
Kevin Durant.
Hey, okay. Yes,
Kevin Durant and his brother Tony. Yeah.
That's good.
I didn't see Pleasant.
That's wonderful. Okay. Now, brother Mark, what advice would you give to future fathers?
Future fathers. Be prepared. Sometimes there are things you can't prepare for, but be prepared. Be present. Be able to take care of your children. And that's in we have situations, and I'm talking from just a society standpoint. We have situations where the fathers aren't in relationships with the mothers, but that doesn't mean you can't be a father. It's one of the most important and one of the most prideful roles that I have, and that's being a father.
Yes, sir.
Be able to guide my children and communicate with them in a way where they can tell me anything and build that relationship. And that's whether you are in the house or you're not in the house with the mom. It's just that important, because being absent. It's like when you put a tree in the ground, right?
Yes, sir.
When they put a tree in the ground, they put a stick beside it.
Yes, sir.
And so it can grow up straight. And then after a while, when the roots are down and the bark of that tree gets a little stronger, they can remove the stick.
Yes, sir.
We are that guy. When they come up, we are that guy that as they grow, we're going to stay with them and keep them going upright until we can step back and watch them grow on their own.
Yes, sir.
And that's been my role. I've just been that guy. And I think it's just that important that we understand what our role should be in the lives of our children. And I have 2 girls, so certain things I can't teach them. Certain things that's on their mom. But if you have boys, it's very important, because look what the world is doing to our young black men.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's very important, and the man just have to be there as guys. And if you don't have that father figure, find one. My father wasn't in my life, so Minister Farrakhan became my father figure. Of what I should be like as a man, as a husband, as a brother, as a community leader or anything like that. He became that figure, and when you do that, it could be your neighbor. It could be, if you got a neighbor that's a good man, use him, utilize him, and develop yourself. Take a bit and pieces of all the good men in your life and develop yourself. So that would be my advice.
Wonderful. Okay, excellent advice. And thank you, Brother Mark, for your transparency. And thank you all for continuing to watch the People's Podcast. I got 2 more questions for you, Brother Mark.
Yes, sir.
Brother Mark, behind me, I'm someone who's big into theater, but I love music.
Yes, sir.
Acting, and I have albums they're like my favorite albums of all time. What album, if you could have one album that would be your favorite album, or an album that represents you, like if you say, this is my album, Josh, I want you to put this album up there that represents your life. Yes, what album would you choose, Brother Mark?
Public Enemy, man.
Okay.
Public Enemy, man.
Okay.
Listen, that's one of the most militant albums I've ever heard in my life.
Yes, sir.
And then coming into this and the music aspect of it, man, it just speaks. It speaks to me.
praise be to Allah.
And then you got Professor Griff and the brothers and Brother John and man drilling in the background. Come on, man. It's don't get no better than that. Dog. Come on now. I know you're a music head. Come on.
Yes, sir. For me, probably Michael Jackson Thriller. Probably Michael Jackson Thriller.
Okay, I get it.
Michael Jackson Thriller. But I've had the honor of interviewing Professor Griff twice.
Yes, sir.
He always show love to the brothers and stuff.
Yes, sir.
Brother Mark, what would you like your legacy to be, sir?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm still writing it. But if I would be able to say what it was, is that I'm a good brother.
Yes, sir.
A good heart, man. That'll do anything for you. Works hard to maintain his family, respectful, and humble. I'm out for a while.
Yes, sir.
You know, I'm out for a while. And, you know, throughout travel, you know, the world with entertainers, I'm known as Brother Mark.
Yes, sir.
In Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Africa, when they speak of the security, it's Brother Mark. So I try to kind of conduct myself as an FOI.
Praise be to Allah.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. And I want to thank you, Brother Mark, for your sacrifice. Thank your family for their sacrifice.
Thank you, sir.
And I want to just let people know, I was telling my sister Naima earlier, I said I was interviewing Brother Mark, and I said we would get the stage assignments or whatever our detail was. And one of the hardest details ever is to come behind and have to relieve Brother Mark.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm like, if this is the time the enemy's going to attack, and they see you up there, and it's like, okay, Josh tapping you on the shoulder. I'm like, yeah, what's up, boy? Don't try it, boy. Y'all ain't try, Brother Mark. Don't try me today. Not today.
Not today, brother. No, sir. Not today. I mean, because I didn't get to the point where I had, again, I was a processing brother in PG study group, and after about a month, I went to the captain. I told him straight. I said, man, who was them dudes that came down and stepped with Farrakhan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, I was raw, bro. He was like, oh, that's the E team. I was like, E team. He was like, yeah, they protect them every way you go. I was like, man, how you do that? I want to do that.
Yes, sir.
I said,
yes,
man,
sir.
I want to protect that man with my life. He
Yes,
saved
sir.
me, man. So, you know, he said, you know, just keep working and learning security, all your posts. And, man, if your heart is sincere, that's what he said to me. If your heart is sincere, Allah will bless you to do anything you want to do in your nation. Yes, sir. And I moved out because my heart was sincere, and Allah blessed me to be able to secure him, because it is a blessing to secure him and stand next to him and had the opportunity to interact with him, and I'm forever grateful.
Praise be to Allah. Well,
Yes,
I want to thank you, Brother Mark. I want to thank everybody for watching the People's Podcast. Our commercials will be done at the end of this week for sponsorships. It's Cash App, the People's Podcast. I thank all of my sponsors. We got some great work ahead of us, some great interviews. And thank you, Brother Mark. I love you.
Thank you, beloved. Love you more, beloved.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.